If you are a primal dieter who is looking for a job that isn't completely toxic and enslaving, then you are in hell, and my heart goes out to you because I was in your position. Every job in our society is completely toxic. Either you are, like, how do you call it, that guy in the restaurant? You are a waiter, and you have to touch receipts, and you have to breathe in the fumes from the dishwasher, or you work in some storage and you have to breathe in heavy metals and plastics, or you work, I don't know, any kind of work you do, you're fucking engulfed in like blue lights and EMFs, and you're a complete slave and you hate doing it. A lot of jobs are toxic nowadays. Like, I cannot think of almost any job in which you are not breathing in something toxic or in which you are not engulfed by EMFs and artificial blue light. And most of them are very depressing and enslaving as well. So, yeah, then you have like a job like, let's say, garbage collector. In theory, you are outside, and yeah, it smells, but you don't really have to breathe in the toxicity. It smells bad, but you don't want to be a fucking garbage collector. Fuck that. You are better than that. You are someone who is researching health and who, instead of indulging in the hedonistic pleasure of consuming seed oils and ignoring their health, you care about this. You literally eat raw meat in order to be healthier, so your offspring can be more beautiful. You are not going to be a garbage collector, collecting garbage after complete slaves in this society. You are better than that. So what do you do if every fucking job is toxic? So I found actually two jobs which are good if you are on the primal diet and value your health. One of them is obviously farming, and I made a video about how to find a job on a farm. I don't know if it's uploaded yet, probably it is. It's called How to Quit 9 to 5 and Work on a Farm. You can check that out if you want to work on a farm. You can make some money with it, I guess, but generally it's a good job. You can find a way to live and whatever, but generally it's possible you can find a job on a farm which will make you a lot of money, but generally you cannot do it for life because most of these jobs on farms, which you will find by using the technique which I outlined for you, then you will not make a lot of money. You can make money, but not a lot of it. You will not make enough to save up for a house and to nourish your future family and stuff like that, doing random farm jobs. So that leaves me with only one job which I can think of, which is not toxic, which doesn't require you to be fucking. I don't. There are jobs like sales jobs. No, if you are a phone salesman, then you are having a phone next to your head. That's EMFs. That's toxic. If you are door-to-door salesman, then maybe you could call it a good job if you can make enough money by that. But in Europe, in most villages, you cannot even do door-to-door sales legally. So what? Who cares? You don't want to be a salesman. That's such a Jewish job. You're not a Jew to be a salesman. What? Okay, sorry, that was insulting. I actually think salesmanship can be cool, but still, it's likely not the job for you. And I tried to be a phone salesman. I tried to sell phone tariffs for Vodafone. I was literally cold calling people. I was taking kratom, white kratom, pretending it's cocaine, and I was pretending to be Jordan Belfort from Wall of Wall Street, cold calling people. And I had wired headphones in order to avoid the EMFs. But if you call someone from a phone and have wired headphones, then the EMFs from the call are going straight to the headphones. So yeah, airplane mode, that's okay with headphones, but calling, no, you cannot avoid EMFs. So whatever, you are not a phone salesman, and you are not a slave who is going to breathe in toxic fumes and shit like that. And likely you are not a farmer because you want to make money so that in future you can have a house and a family. What do you do then? You are going to be so grateful for this. Like that's such a godsend of a job. Like holy hell. Maybe there are more, but this is the best one which I'm aware of. Working in the forest with a chainsaw. Like, You cut down. It's physically demanding, but who gives a shit? You are a man. If you are a fucking lumberjack. You cut down trees in the forest, and then you cut the branches off, and then you like make the wood into like pieces or whatever. Basically, any kind of work in forest, which includes chainsaws, because you are outside in the fresh air. If you are working with a chainsaw, that you are probably going to be warm and you are not going to suffer even if it's winter because you are going to warm yourself up. In summer, you are going to be very hot, but who cares? Sweating is healthy. You are detoxing a lot of things when you sweat. Then you breathe no toxic fumes, like you have some gas going out from the chainsaw away from you, and you barely smell it, so that's fine. Then you have no blue light. You have completely natural environment, and you yeah there's EMFs coming from the chainsaw, yeah, but it's actually not really significant. Like you hold it in your hands, like who cares? Your hands get exposed to a bit of PMFs, but it's completely different than being stuck in an office building in which you are being fried by several Wi-Fi routers and next to a computer and stuff like that. Like it's insignificant, the EMF you get from a chainsaw. Now, what else? Yeah, the reason this is such a good son of a job is that these jobs make fuck ton of money. In Czech Republic, where I live, where we have like the least money from the whole European Union compared to the prices, you can make so much money working in the forest. It's like over average pay. And if you go to work like to like Germany or Austria or Sweden or something like that, then you make so much goddamn money. You can make so much money working in the forest with like chainsaw. Now, in modern society, in order to get a house and to be able to eat primal, to like afford good food from farmers, raw milk, and to have a house and to have cattle and to be whatever, in this society, to not be a slave, you need plenty of money. And the amount of money you need, you get that either by being an entrepreneur who makes some fucking business, or you can be a forest worker, because a forest worker can make as much money as an entrepreneur here. Like, I know I was supposed to go to work at this one guy who was my ex-classmate from my woodworker school, and I didn't because he lost the money he wanted to buy my equipment with in gambling. I'm not joking. It was incredibly funny. And then I didn't want to go there anymore because I lost trust in him. But he has so much money, and he always says like, "Bro, money never made me happy. I have so much from it and it never changes my life." Like, if you cannot spend it, but if you want to have like land, if you want to move to the tropics, if you want to have a cow, if you want to have built anything, if you want to have a big family, if you want to buy a hot tub or something, then you can always spend your money. And yeah, if you work in the forest, you're going to have a lot of money and have a job which doesn't feel like complete slavery. Like you take a chainsaw, you do something, and you see the physical results of your job. You don't type something into computer and then it's gone. You don't work in a factory and then whatever you build is gone to the producer. You cut down a tree, you see the difference before you cut the tree down and after you did it. You see the difference of having several trees cut down and being prepared for being killed. You can see the results of your own labor, and it's very entertaining and it's fun for your male mind. Now, you could say that why the hell would you care about money? Why would you destroy your health to get to make money? Money isn't even real. It doesn't exist. Well, first, if you say that the money doesn't exist or that it's not important, then it's 100% chance that you have this idea from Gotis. And Gotis literally makes a video every few months asking his followers to send him money. And he makes consultations for money. And he has private Telegram videos for money. Even though he says that money isn't real, he makes an effort to make money, as if in money could get you things. Like, okay, so money isn't real and doesn't exist. Okay, whatever. But The guy who tells you that but it doesn't isn't real still wants money from you. And even if money wasn't real, then you can still buy a house with it. You can, oh yeah, you can still buy a house with it. You can still buy organs with it. You can still buy a kettle with it. You can still buy land with it. If you are someone who wants money, then you're probably watching this video if you want money. But if you are someone who doesn't want money, then just go work on a farm if you don't need any money. Then you don't need to go on a work in the forest. But yeah, you literally can use money to get you stuff which makes your life better in the society. Hot tub, land, cattle, feeding your children, plane ticket to a better country, whatever, you can use money. And you can make it in the forest. Now, aren't you destroying nature by working with a chainsaw in the forest? Well, there are some jobs in which you just go and you cut down trees infinitely to just get some wood and you destroy the forest. Yeah, sure. Don't do such kinds of jobs, but most of the forest work is like you have a forest in which, like public forest in which you like walk and stuff, and you do maintenance of that forest. Like there are rotting trees which are falling all over, and you basically mostly cut down like rotting dead trees. You are trees which are dead, which are dry, which are fell over with the roots. You just make a maintenance of the forest. Like there are jobs when you completely destroy the forest. Okay, don't do that. But you can just do a job where you take you take wood from trees which are dead or fell over already. Now you could argue like, okay, but these dead trees still belong there or whatever. But like most of the forests in Europe are not native anymore. Like I would never work in a native forest with a chainsaw. I would never cut down a native forest. But most of the forests are artificial fake forests planted in a way so that you can cut the trees later and have wood from it. So what you are destroying is not even like a forest, but a field for trees. And second, most of the time, which are the jobs you should be taking, you are taking wood which is completely destroyed, which the tree won't use anymore. And often it's in places where, like, behind a village, there is a forest where I lived, and there are so many trees fell over that you have to climb over them. It's just complete mess, and it's not fun. Like you could argue, okay, we want nature, we want the wild nature with fallen trees and everything, but I don't know. I kind of want to go from my home village to a forest and walk on a walk without having to climb over 10 fell over trees during it. I want a beautiful forest which is with just like some maintenance. I don't want it to look like a complete wasteland. I want some maintenance because I like civilization to some extent. I like village of white people with traditions and houses and electricity, and the forest having some maintenance behind it because I'm not a complete caveman. So yeah, I got exposed now. So yeah, who cares? What's next? It's kind of fun because working with a chainsaw, like the sound isn't that big of an issue because you have headphones over the you have a helmet with headphones, so it barely is loud, the chainsaw. That's for first. And second, you can have like headphones with your phone with like music. Maybe not if you're inexperienced, but eventually you can listen to music while working. And it's fun. You manipulate with chainsaw, you do some movements with it, you cut the trees. It's a manly job. You are a fucking lumberjack if you do this. Like, it's physically demanding, and you could argue that, yeah, but because you are physically exerting yourself while doing this job, then you are a slave, and you are losing your testosterone and whatever. But honestly, who you would be more afraid to fight? Someone who lives completely sedentary lifestyle and lives and works behind like a office job with some PC? Or will you be afraid of fighting a fucking lumberjack who cuts down trees with a chainsaw? Like, who is probably more fertile, more manly, more attractive? Who is more intimidating? Someone who lives a sedentary lifestyle, or a fucking lumberjack? Who is more manly? A fucking lumberjack every single time. Like, lumberjack is the fucking equivalent of someone who is of manliness. Like, it used to be that way in like the, like, it's in this, it has this aura. Like, someone who is a lumberjack, it has similar aura to someone being called a Chet. Like, a lumberjack is a big, tall, fat guy with a beard. That's what you imagine when you think of a fucking lumberjack. It's fun. The job is fun. I did work with chainsaw in my first school, and it's fun thing to do actually. It is fun, especially if you know that for each tree you cut down and you work with, the more you are going to get paid. Like, you see the results. You see, okay, I cut down one more tree and I get even more money, for which I can buy even more organs or something like that. It's fun. It's literally like a video game. You get the dopamine hits. Like, in normal job, you work, and no matter how good of a job you do, you will get paid the same by the hour. In the forest, the more you work with the chainsaw, the more trees you cut down, the more you get paid. It's like a video game. It's like a progression, and the amount of money you get from it, it's worth it. You will afford very good food from it, and eventually you will be able to get a house or whatever. Now, how do you get this job? If you are a teenager, then you should probably do what I did, is that you should get into a forest work school. So basically there are these schools or high schools or whatever where they will learn you a trade. And you should find a school where they will learn you the trade of working with a chainsaw. And they will give you, after like 2 or 3 years, they will give you a paper that you can work with a chainsaw. And I don't know, in America or UK, you pay thousands of dollars for university which teaches you nothing. In Europe, or at least in Czech Republic, this is free. You are literally going to school for free, and they are going to learn you a skill, a chainsaw. They will give you papers for working with a chainsaw, which will make you a fuck ton of money in the future, in a job which isn't harmful for you because you don't inhale any toxic shit. You aren't exposed to blood and EMF and so on. It's a good investment, honestly. The time spent in the school for the chainsaw, it's good investment, honestly. And if you're older or after school already, then I don't actually know how do you get papers on a chainsaw, but I suppose you basically just get some course on chainsaw where you will be learning on how to work with chainsaw, and after a few months you will get papers for it. And I think it's a very good investment to be able to work with a chainsaw. Also, I don't know how it works in other countries, but in this country, if you're unemployed, there is like support in unemployment facility or whatever, where you like report yourself, like, I don't have a job, whatever the fuck, and you can tell them like, I would like to make a course, government course for chainsaw, and these people will likely pay for your course with a chainsaw. So if you can do that, attempt that. It's a good investment. I think working with a chainsaw in the forest is the best job for a primal dieter. And I hit the jackpot because, do you remember the way I told you in the last video on how to get a job on a farm? When you join every Facebook group related to farming and you make an insertion about you looking for a job on a farm. I did the same thing. That's how you find a forest job in the forest. You do the same thing as I described in the last video. You join every single group. Instead of farming, you do woodworking though. So you join every single group in your own native language on Facebook with like woodworking, forest working, chainsaw working, work in forest and anything with that. You join one of these groups, and then you make an insertion like, look, I have paper for a chainsaw, and I want to work in the forest. Can anyone like employ me? Does anyone want to employ me? I did this, and I had like 20 people reach out to me wanting to hire me. Now, there's a caveat. In order to work with a chainsaw, you need a chainsaw, a helmet, pants which you cannot cut through with a chainsaw, and shoes which have like end of the shoes is metal. So when a tree fall, not tree, but like big piece of log, big fucking log falls on it, your feet doesn't get broken, so you're protected. The equipment costs like 500 euro together if you are cheap, and if you want the better equipment, then maybe 1000 euros. But it's worth the investment. And I specifically told in the forest war, I told these people in the Facebook that on the Facebook groups that, look, I don't have a chainsaw, I don't have anything. I'm looking for someone who is willing to hire me, even though I don't have a chainsaw. And you have to specify that. Because if you want a chainsaw, that chainsaw alone can cost like 1000 euros or something like that. So the equipment is 1000 without the chainsaw. So sometimes they will be able to give you the equipment, and sometimes they will be able to give you the chainsaw as well. You will find the most jobs if you have your own chainsaw, I guess. But you can always find a job where someone will give you their own chainsaw, and it's preferable, honestly. Because if you have your own chainsaw, then likely you are going to go in the forest and you are going to cut your trees down alone. You have to do it all, it's complex and whatever. If someone gives you a chainsaw, then you are probably going to work in a team where people will tell you what to do, and it's simpler and safer and whatever. So yeah, I did this, and I had the luck. Yeah, if you do this, then you will also get offers for similar jobs. One of them is cutting grass in the forests around like saplings. Like you have this thing, it's like krzawinożec, I don't know how to call it. It's like grass cutter, which you like hold like this and go brr, like the string. You know what I mean. Well, you have that, and you can cut grass in forests with it, and that makes a lot of money, and it's even less stressful than working with a chainsaw, and it's safer. That's another thing that you can do. It's the same, no toxicity, no whatever. It's a good job. And what I did is, I don't know how to say it in English. I tried to translate it in English, but it got translated into gamekeeper, like with game. I mean animals, like forest animals, wild animals. We have the same word for gamekeeper and for this other thing. And it's similar thing. Basically, I took the job and I'm going to be like counting wood in the forest. Like when the people cut down trees and everything, then I go there and I measure the weight and height of the trees which were fell. I measure the stuff, so I count the amount of wood mass which they cut down or some shit. And that's about it. I ride around the forests and I count trees which were fell, and I report it in whatever. So I don't even have to physically exert myself. So I'm walking around in the forest, counting some fucking logs, and I get paid for that. It's not toxic, it's no exertion, no whatever. But yeah, if I didn't have the experience with a chainsaw, it's unlikely that they will have me. But yeah, I found a perfect job for a primal dieter. But yeah, it pays enough money. It pays just as much money, if not more, than a regular job of like a waiter or some shit. Expect it's healthy completely. So that's one thing. But if I want to, I can pick up a chainsaw, and besides counting the wood and stuff, I can like pick some area of forest for myself, and I can cut down trees myself, and I can make extra money by working with chainsaw, which is something I will definitely do. Like Andrew Tate had this very interesting quote, like, if a woman could make $1,000 per hour, then they would think, I can only work 1 hour a week. That's so cool. But a man will think, holy shit, I can make like $50,000 a week. So that's my mindset. That's how my mindset is. I will I will work more and make more money so I can buy more food and more equipment and can save up for vacations in the tropics and whatever because I like money or whatever. Because I'm actually incredibly materialistic. I don't care about what do materialistic people care about money. I don't care about cars or expensive clothing because expensive clothing is usually from polyester. I don't care about watches and all of that bullshit. But I care about things which can make me, which can influence my survival. I care about having an expensive hot tub or property somewhere where there are less chemtrails or having cattle and land and stuff like that. Or, yeah, that. I basically like money. And if you like money and don't want to sacrifice your health, then find a job with a chainsaw. It will make you a lot of money and make you sacrifice not a lot of your health. That's about it. If you enjoy this kind of content, then you can check out the second link in the description, which is a private community full of people like me and you. Eat raw meat, get tan, and don't have a tree fall over you when you cut it down with a chainsaw.